I'm just wondering why they've used a different color for the hand. I mean, like, why would they use a different color for the hand? I told you I'm not expecting much, but... Hi everyone, you are most welcome to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much. If you are new, my name is Juliana. In today's video, I am going to walk you through when I received my wedding dress, and then the excitement, the disappointment, and what have you. And then after that, I'm going to give you 6 tips that I have learned when you are considering ordering a wedding dress online. So if you want to know the details and my personal tips, please do stay tuned and watch to the very end. Let's get into it. Guys, so I just received this parcel. It's actually supposed to be my wedding dress. Yes! So I got it from Kiku. I don't know, but I'm not really nice. The seller was, the communication wasn't the best, okay? So I'm not really expecting them to do a very good job. I really don't have confidence in this dress at all. So let me just unwrap it and then see if they did a good job or not. I'm really not expecting much, but let's pray so. We'll find out what this is. I don't know, but I'm not expecting much, honestly. Guys, I repositioned the camera, so we are continuing from where we left off. So I'm just wondering why they've used a different color for the hand. I mean, like, why would they use a different color for the hand? I told you I'm not expecting much, but well, I think the down is not bad. It's not that bad. I just don't like the color. But the top, I'm not too sure. I think it's too big. Hey, see. Let me wear it and then let's see. I love the details over here. Let me bring it closer. You see, they are fine. I think it's sequins. I just don't like this. I don't know why she used this color. Let me go and change, okay, and wear it in. Let's see how it goes. So let's get to know what this is for. I think. Oh. Oh. I think it's going to be like this. Oh. Oh. It's going to be like this. Overall, I think it's good. Yeah, I think I love it. I do. So now straight into the tips. The first tip I want to share with you is to identify your budget and do window shopping, okay? Identifying your budget in a sense that you make a decision. How much are you willing to spend on your wedding dress? It all depends on your income, and so you make that decision. Give yourself a range and then move straight into window shopping. Window shopping in a sense that you identify the websites or whichever online shop that you are familiar with, or if you are not familiar with any. For me personally, I did my window shopping on Kiku, on Alibaba Express. I also looked at a few online shops in Ghana here that are into wedding dresses, okay? So what you would need to do is to look at the dresses that are online according to your budget. The thing is, you would need to be focused and disciplined, okay, because you are going to find dresses that are beyond your imagination, that are so beautiful, that are so detailed, that has been graciously worked on. And so if you are not careful, you'll be tempted to spend more than what you have budgeted for, and it may not help you. If you don't, you might probably get extra funds from somewhere, or somebody might be willing to sponsor you. That is okay to spend beyond your budget or above your budget. But then if you do not get any extra funds, you would need to develop the habit of staying focused, disciplined, and then psych yourself that this is how much I am willing to spend, or according to the range I have given myself, this is how much I am going to spend. And then you go according to that, and you would identify which online shop you are going with and what particular dress you are going with. So that is my tip number one, and that is what I did, and it really helped me. Now the second tip that I want to share with you is to identify a vendor. Okay, after you have identified your budget and you have made your window shopping, you know which online shop you are going to buy the dress from, then you identify the vendor. Who are you going to buy it from? You can do this by doing or reading a lot of reviews of the various vendors that you come across. Okay, you read the reviews. A lot of people come back to leave comments, and or even if they, at the moment they receive their wedding dresses, some people leave comments and everything. Personally, when I was done, I sent my pictures to the vendor, and then I believe she has uploaded it on her page for people to have a look at it. And then you make a review. A lot of people have made reviews. Some are good, some are bad. So you weigh the various options and then you go with that. Some people also do not have review at all. Some vendors don't have reviews at all. Some of them have just a few reviews. Some also have different shops. So you look at the various options. The strategy that I used is that when I go there and I look at your views, I look at the number of people who have viewed, and then the period for the review. It may have been way back in 2017, 2016. And so what you should do is you look at the review which is a little bit closer to the year that you are doing your wedding. So for example, we are in 2021, and so you might want to look at reviews from 2019, 2020, okay, or maybe 2018 back. So do not go back as 2016, because you never know whether the vendor exists or whether the vendor does not exist. Okay, so you look at the period for the review and the number of reviews and the quality of the reviews, and then you make your decision as to whether you are going for vendor A or you are going for vendor B. So that is my second tip. For my third tip, which is very important to me, I think this is the most important tip that you should consider or you should know. You should engage the vendor and follow all instructions. Engage the vendor and follow all instructions. Why should you engage the vendor? Why should you follow instructions? First of all, it is this vendor who is going to produce your wedding dress for you, and so you need his attention. He also needs your attention, and whatever instruction that you are given, the instructions include your measurements, where you are sending the money to, your delivery location, okay? And so you have to be very attentive and you follow all instructions. For some of the vendors, when you select on a particular dress that you want, it gives you all the details, how you should measure, where you should measure, okay? If you do not understand something, you engage the vendor and ask him or her how the person is supposed to, or how you are supposed to measure where. They have their own terms. If you are not familiar with sewing terms or measuring terms, feel free to ask the vendor, okay? For mine, when I engaged the vendor, like I said in the video, there was some kind of language barrier, okay? And so I had to send her voice messages. I have to send her videos of myself asking her, should I measure from here to here? Is that what you mean by whatever term they had termed it? Should I measure from here to here? Is it what you mean by that? So I made sure that I am understanding exactly what the vendor wants me to do, and the vendor is also looking at my body type, okay? When it comes to the measurement, do not measure above or below. When your measurement is 60, do 60, send 60 inches. If you measure your hips and your hips measurement is 10, do 10. One thing is that when you send the measurements to them, they know that they are going to be adding plus or minus 2 inches to every measurement. So assuming you measure your hips and then your waist and then you measure 29, and you send the person 28, at the end of the day, it is when it comes, it's going to be plus or minus 2. And so you will find yourself wanting, you might not see a lot of how do they call it, a lot of allowance on your dress, okay? And so you need to send the exact measurement, okay? That is why it is very key to engage the vendor just before you make a purchase or before you make the order. Okay, you follow every instruction. If your height is 60 inches, send 60 inches. Do not send 62 or 63 or 61. That is the only way. You see in the video when it came, so because I sent the measurements, when it came it was plus 2 inches, okay? And so I had to do alteration to fit me better. And so if you send plus 2 or minus 2, when it comes, it's either it's going to really tighten you or it's going to be very big, and you do not want that, okay? So engage the vendor, follow every instruction. Now my fourth tip, make your order early and give specific address, okay? So for me, as at the time I was making the order, my date wasn't settled on. I knew it was going to be somewhere in November or December, and as at the time I was doing the window shopping, it was around July, August, okay? And so you would need to do the order early so that it comes early. You would never know what will happen. So for example, in this COVID era, if you do not order early, you may never know what might come about or what the next thing is. Aliens might be invading the world and you'd have to do your wedding in your room, okay? So you order early and you give out specific address, and then you wait patiently so that when it comes, you'll be able to have enough time to do all your alterations, to do all the other things that you're supposed to do with the dress, okay? So that is my fourth tip over there. My tip number 5 is for you to practice the dress when it finally arrives, okay? First of all, you have received the dress. Unless you are a wedding freak, nobody has worn a wedding dress before. If you are not married, nobody wears, on a normal day, nobody wears a wedding dress. And so you yourself, you haven't worn a wedding dress before, unless you've been married before or you normally you are a wedding vendor or something, I don't know. And the average person do not wear wedding dress on a normal day. And so when it comes, you wear the dress, and then you see, number 1, whether it fits you and whether you need to do alterations, like I mentioned in tip number 4, the time that you would need to do the alteration, and you practice in it, okay? If it has a very long train, mine didn't really come with a long train. It had a train, but then it wasn't too long. It was quite heavy. So I had to practice so that on the D-Day, I do not find myself tripping here and there. You need to practice with your shoe and then see how you'll be able to walk very well in the dress. If you are certain how are you going to hold it, your maid of honor will be there to help. But then you sitting there, your maid of honor won't be of any help when you are sitting down, because he or she will not hold your bottles for you. She won't hold your bottles for you. She's only going to adjust she's only going to adjust your dress when you sit down, okay? So you practice how you're going to sit, how you're going to stand, how you're going to make a step, how you're going to turn around, and even try doing some picture positions, and then look online, identify some picture positions, and then I think you'll be okay. Okay, so practice very well, and then in the shoe as well as your veil, okay? Trust me, if you don't practice, the day will come, you sit down and you'll be like, what is pinching my buttocks, what is pinching my waist, what is pinching my ear, so you need to practice wearing the dress so that you know whether you would even need a bra in the first place, or whether you need a tube in the first place, or whether you need to open your arm length in the first. So my dear, you need to practice, okay? My last tip is the washing part. I understand some wedding planners do all these things, help you do all these things for you. For me, I didn't have any wedding planner. I just coordinated everything myself, me and my fiance, and then some very good friends and my sister. But then, so I didn't have any wedding planner. If you happen to have a wedding planner, they are going to help you do all of these. You don't need to worry about practicing in it, because they will help you do everything, and everything will come out perfect, I believe. But then for me, or if you are going to have the option of not involving any wedding planner, you need these tips. Okay, so for me, what I did was, when I was getting to, I think a week before, I took a rest and then washed the dress. I think I washed it myself actually. I mean, it wasn't a big deal. Just put water in a basin, put some washing powder, very light one, and then just shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, and then you're good to go. You can also send it to the laundry if you trust the laundry. When it has a lot of details in it, like sequins or beads in it, it will come back tearing apart here and there. But then if you have a trusted laundry, you can send it there and then they can do the washing for you. So these are my tips. But then the ultimate question is, ordering online, is it good or bad? I'll say that it all depends on you. What is your preferred option? What do you want to do? For me, because I didn't have any wedding planner, I chose that route and it worked for me. Even though I didn't really like the hand, at the end of the day, I changed it because I could do it. I had my seamstress, she offered to do it for me, but then she had an emergency. But because I'm able to do a little bit of sewing, I replaced my hand and I was able to do it. It might not be the same for you. If you order online and it comes and you want to change any part of the dress, you can send it to your trusted seamstress and he or she can do it for you. Your tailor can do it for you, okay? For me, I was able to do it myself, and so for me, the experience was okay. The only disappointment I had was a hand. Okay, the measurements, when it came out, I had grown a little bit lean, so I wouldn't really blame the vendor, but then I was also able to alterate it to fit me perfectly. So for me, the experience was okay, right from the window shopping out to identifying the vendor, engaging the vendor, and also having the dress. It was okay for me, and the cost especially was okay for me. So I wouldn't say go for an online wedding dress, ditto, but then you think about it, know what you want, and shoot it. Whether you want your local store or your seamstress to sew it for you, or you are going the other way around like I did, it is equally fine. So for me, it was a good one, it was a good experience. That's how I'm able to share these tips with you in the first place. So that is all that I have for you. I hope these are helpful tips. Let me know whether you go in for an online dress when it's your turn, or when it is your daughter's turn, or your whoever that you would give these tips to. Okay, so that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for being with me today. Watch out for my other videos for more interactive sessions like this, and more episodes and interesting titles and live discussions that are coming up in the coming weeks. Do stay tuned, subscribe, and share with your friends and loved ones. I love you all for the support. Thank you so much. Bye. Mwah. So yeah, this is all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe and hit the notification button if you haven't. Okay, thank you.